I'm joined by Wright. His film, My Trip to Al-Qaeda, premieres on HBO this September and recently received widespread acclaim at the Tribeca Film Festival in New York.
You never know when your life is going to change forever. Mine changed in 1969 when I came to Egypt to teach at the American University in Cairo. As it happens, Mohammed Atta, the leader of the hijackers on 9/11, studied English at the American University. I'm told he was a good student. It was after my time there.
What do you think is, the most important thing you want audiences to take away from this?
I want people to try to understand where these radicals came from, what motivates them, and also how this event, this terrible tragedy, has changed us as a people.
How do you think it's changed you?
It was a hard experience for me. I mean, like every American, I was wounded and grieving after 9/11, and so when I went into the Middle East to research this, it was really difficult to hang on to my journalistic neutrality. I found myself struggling with a lot of emotions, a lot of anger, a lot of grief, and also confronting this cultural denial that was so present in the region at that time, which was also very upsetting to me. And I had to sort through a lot of those emotions in the writing of the play and the movie.
What do you think is the most important conclusion, and cause that you feel that at the very least, Americans should recognize that this is something of a motivating factor? This is what drives this kind of extremism. It doesn't justify it, but at least it helps you understand what drives it.
Well, most of these people come from very repressive political and economic environments, societies that offer young people very little to look forward to. So radicalism is a likely element in that kind of society anyway. And then you couple that with the certain political anger that drives around, for instance, the Israeli-Palestinian issue, or something we rarely talk about in this country, Kashmir, which is also a very incendiary political situation.
And you know what's interesting about what you say is absolutely in societies like this with repressive governments where there's little hope for young people, it's not just poor young people that are joining the ranks of these extremists. There are qualified professionals, doctors, pediatricians, teachers, professors. How do you explain that element, do you think?
Al-Qaeda is really, from the beginning, a very professional organization, and so you're right to observe that. Part of the frustration, I think, for instance, in Cairo, a school teacher makes about $25 or $30 a month. A professor at the university, maybe $100 a month. So people who start off with well-educated, with aspirations, their hopes are really cut off.
Your book that inspired this film, that it's based on, was written in 2007. Do you feel it's just as relevant today or more relevant? I mean, how does it fit now into the current dynamic?
Well, unfortunately, in the Middle East, things change very slowly. And so the cycle is still stuck where it was when I took the needle off in 2007. It's just not, it's not moving, it's not progressing. I think the level of frustration is rising. Political radicalism is still an element, so little has changed.
There was a moment during one of your interviews where, help me here, so in case I don't remember it exactly correctly, but you considered whether you should be sort of reaching down and picking up your notebook or picking up a weapon.
Yeah, if I had the chance to interview Osama bin Laden, the question that I posed to myself many times, because it wasn't out of the question. He's spoken to the Western press in the past.
That's right.
And suppose I had that opportunity. What would be my greater obligation? Would it be to conduct the interview or just pick up the bread knife and kill him? As an American, that might be the appropriate response. As a reporter, it wouldn't be. So I have not had to have that encounter with myself in real life, but only in my imagination.
And where do you end up? What do you think you'd do?
I think I would probably get the interview and then kill him.
Well, that's fascinating and a very good place to end it. Lawrence, thank you so much. Very kind of you to give us time today, and I'll tell everybody out there to see the movie, buy the book, and to learn something. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
We wish